training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners.
Welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I'm Weezy Shoemaker, and I just held that intro together by a thread of floss. Joined, as always, by Justin McClintock, and today we have a strong take for you that I've titled, Fuck Your Resolutions.
Take that, resolutions.
Take that.
And this is, unless we did our math terribly wrong, this should be dropping on New Year's Eve day.
I don't do anything related to anything other than showing up right here.
Yes. I'm going to do what I can to see to it that this happens, unless there's some kind of horrible technical malfunction that gets in my way.
Mm-hmm. That's
then
right.
We'll do it.
We did have, I say we, like I had anything to do with it, but you had difficulty uploading this week's episode to Spotify. It was not clear that it was ever going to go until it did.
There was a weird glitch that kept, and it's interesting because it's kind of an old-timey computer glitch where the date kept resetting to whatever the release date I set, but the year kept resetting to 1969. And I think a lot of like the original programmers are going to correct me because I'm wrong here, but like original ASCII code and like kind of the basis of a lot of what things are operating on now, 1969 was the base year because that's when a lot of the stuff was designed. And for some reason, I uploaded like, I don't know if anyone out there got an early edition because it was only up for a minute or two, but it kept auto-publishing because I was like, oh, it should go up on December 17th, at 3:57 a.m. And instead it took it as December 17th, 1969. The robot was like, oh, I'm late. I should just publish this now. And it fired it off. And it was like a little over a week early. And that happened like 5 times. And I finally I reset everything and did all this stupid stuff. And I finally just left it alone for a few days, came back, and Spotify was playing nice again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did get a thing. I know I shared some of like the stats with you, but for a young podcast, according to Spotify, we are shared by people more than 95% of all podcasts on Spotify, which I think is both good for us and speaks to the devastating landscape of podcasts.
Two things can be true. Two things can be true.
We appreciate all of you out there. Sharing it is actually a gigantic help and really useful. And I think there's a lot of people making 1 or 2 episodes of a podcast and bailing. What
are we at this point? Like almost 25, right?
It's definitely up there. Do I have... I think we're in the middle of number 28.
Wow.
If my little document is to be believed.
Wow. That means we've almost been doing this. Well, almost. We've been doing this over 6 months.
Yeah, it's right. So the trailer episode was kind of its own thing. But we published episode 1 on July 9th. So we recorded it well before then. I don't know if you remember, we had some hiccups. We recorded it on like May 20th or something.
Yep. Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. Thinking back at this, like I remember when you said, hey, do you want to do a podcast? And I remember a thought being like, yes, I have so many things to say. And then when I sat down, because you, who are a little more structured than I am, said, great, let's both make a list of 10 things we might like to talk about. And making that list broke my brain. And I remember thinking like, maybe I don't have anything to say.
I think we have roundly disproven that theory at this point.
In fact, I have a lot to say.
It turns out there's plenty, and there probably always will be. And
that's right.
That's okay.
That's right.
That's how it works.
You know this already, but I did not have anything at all to say last night. Because we navigated, we being Ted and I, a 6-year-old meltdown of just like epic proportions, and spent almost 90 minutes just like deer in the headlights staring at the fireplace, which was not on, and like just silently existing in the same room.
Just sipping tea and shivering in your SVU blankets, wondering what happened.
Yeah. Just basically sitting there like vibrating, trying to come down.
Yeah.
From being bullied by a 6-year-old.
It sounds like it was really rough.
It was really rough. I think the toughest part is that, the kids feed off of each other, right? And so the 2-year-old was fine, but he was realizing like, oh, the 6-year-old is having a come apart and he's getting more attention. And so what I need to do is have a come apart.
Yeah. And it's stressful because it's noisy and mom and dad are obviously getting stressed and trying to deal with it. And all of that is stressful. And as a 2-year-old, I have approximately 2 tools to deal with stress.
Right.
And one of them is losing my mind.
Right. Well, and one of the ways that my particular flavor of autism presents itself is that I'm really sensitive to certain sounds. And one of them is like 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 a whine. I can't, like, I even feel like my heart beating a little faster just now, like can't want to be out of that situation as quickly as possible, which is not a healthy way to parent. And so like while I'm trying to calm him, I'm also trying to like, the only way out is through. The only way out is through. Like you need to be chill because he's going to be calmed by your calmness.
Yeah.
Tough.
Box breathing while negotiating with a kindergartner.
Right. And trying to get him to breathe too. Like he understands the concept of lion breathing, but he was so dysregulated and he was going to bed a little later than usual. And he and I had gone out Christmas shopping to get some stuff from him to his little brother and to dad. And so like we're out of our routine. We're doing things a little differently. We ate a little later. We're going to bed 45 minutes and later. All of these things kind of culminated in a perfect storm. And the like bink that put us right over the edge of the cliff was at bath time. We've talked to him at length about we don't put bath toys in our mouth because some of them are foam and we've noticed that some have pieces missing. And I really don't want to go to the ER to have like foam
of all of the things
surgically removed from either my 6-year-old or my 2-year-old. Like I don't want
having bowel surgery because of eating foam.
Right. And like I want to believe that there are no microscopic mold compounds anywhere at all in my bathroom. And the thing that sits in water a lot of the time is going to be the most at risk for that. Right.
Yes.
So we've talked to him at length. We don't put these in our mouth. We don't put these in our mouth. We don't put these in our mouth. Does this go in your mouth? No. Sick. And rounded the corner and he's got like a rubber dinosaur, just like all the right, exactly. And normally would give a warning for something like that. But Ted jumped straight to, nope, throwing it away. It's gone. And this then just created the meltdown to end all meltdowns. So
the big one so far.
The big one.
Yeah.
So far. Yeah. It's the worst meltdown he's ever had.
That sounds really rough.
But we're here and we're ready and we're going to use that energy to talk about resolutions. So I want to set a little bit of like a historical precedent for resolutions before we jump in.
Cool. I'm into it.
Because setting a New Year's resolution, like we think about all the articles that come across and like it's a big clickbaity thing and people love to share what their resolutions are for the year. And the idea of like vision boarding and a word of the year, that sort of stuff, that's relatively new in practice. But setting a New Year's resolution in general is not a new practice. We're first aware of it being recognized by the Babylonians almost 4,000 years ago.
Whole different calendar. I love it.
whole different calendar, right? Not even, it was celebrated on a different date because whole different calendar. But the idea of like, hey, we're noticing that it's been a cyclical year.
Yeah.
Here are some things we're going to change for this upcoming year. Recognized 4,000 years ago, which is crazy. However, despite its prevalence, only 7% of resolutions stick beyond a year.
100%. So believable.
Right. We have a little bit of data on this. The Forbes Health One Poll survey, obviously, there is a skew to who would answer that type of survey in the first place, but the average resolution lasts just 3.74 months.
I'm
Right,
surprised it's that long, honestly.
Right. Only 8% of respondents tend to stick with their goals for a month. 22% last 2 months. 22% last 3 months, and 13% last 4 months. That's 63% who tap out on or before May 1st.
Yeah. Who say they're going to do something for a year or accomplish
Right.
anything or work toward a thing
Right.
and don't make it 16 weeks.
Right. There's even a holiday called Quitter's Day that is, it's a little argued on when it actually is.
Okay.
There's a school of thought that says it's the 17th of January. And then the other school of thought says it's the second Friday in January. But like, what if January starts on Friday? What if January starts on Thursday? We're 8 days in at that point. But that denotes the date that many quit their resolution.
Yeah. 2 weeks in.
Right. So my question that I want to explore through this and that I hopefully want to inspire people to fuck their resolutions, or rather unfuck their resolutions, is why do they fail?
Yeah.
Why are we setting, like, why, if it's important enough to you to decide this is my resolution for the year, how can it be that I am like less than 40% likely to see this past 16 weeks? How is that true?
Yeah, completely. And it's interesting. I'm excited to get into it. I will say I am not on the anti-resolution train per se,
Sure.
because it's kind of it's a perfectly sensible time to take stock of things, and the year is changing. And if you've been on the fence about making a change or doing a thing or investing in yourself or moving stuff in a different direction or telling your boss to take this job and shove it or whatever you're working on, like, it's kind of as good a time as any. And if this is what inspires you, I'm down.
Right. We're going to get there because I believe that as well. And I think that there are a lot of shitty resolutions, and we're going to define what is a shitty resolution.
Yeah, totally.
Right. Before we get into that, I want to get into a little bit of the science behind behavior change.
Mhm.
Contrary to popular opinion, it's actually not hard to create a new habit. However, to change a new habit, we need to tether it to something that's already happening.
Great point. This gets missed a lot.
Right. And for the person who says, like, I don't have any habits, you have created already hundreds of habits that you have that you probably are not even aware of. Right.
Yeah.
How many people do we think roll over and hit an alarm clock? Right. That's a habit. How many people get up and check their phone and maybe check the weather right away?
Mhm.
How many people brush their teeth? Hopefully
and do it
everybody.
like, if I did a little family circus and followed you around, like, your morning routine might look exactly the same, like step for step, move for move for the first 3 minutes every single morning. Like, that's a normal thing to do. You have ingrained habits.
That's right. So to create a new habit, rather than saying, hey, I'm just going to inject this into something that's not currently trackable by me. No, attach it to something that already is happening all of the time.
Mhm.
Right. But we could, in theory, do that with anything. And that doesn't define what makes a resolution either solid or on quicksand.
Correct. It's part of it, but it's definitely not all of it.
It's part of it, right? Because you can say, hey, I've decided that I'm going to eat healthier and I'm going to attach that to meal times. Sick.
Yeah. Oh, like, okay. And
Right. So, a few common overlaps of resolutions that are almost certain to fail
Mhm.
is that they are vague, they're too big, they rely on willpower, and then most importantly, they focus on outcome rather than action, right? This
100%.
year, I resolved to lose 40 pounds. This year, I resolved to save $10,000,
Yeah.
right? Sick. That's great. How are you going to do that?
Yeah. Because that's the outcome. That's
Right.
not the action. That's not the thing or things you're going to do that will ideally result in this outcome.
Right. Exactly. Exactly to that point. When we're thinking about, okay, what if I'm setting a resolution for the year? What do I set? You must pick a small action, not an outcome. Get more exercise is not small. Eat healthier is not small. Save money is not small. Walk 1,000 extra steps than I currently am is small. It's
Yes.
specific. It's doable, right? Take the stairs each morning to get to my office, not the elevator. Have a smoothie every morning with kale in it, right? These are small. If you look at the scope of a year, like how ridiculous does it sound to say like my resolution for 2026 is to have a smoothie with kale in it every day? That sounds ridiculous. Like that's not sexy or exciting at all. But the underline of that could be, well, I know that I'm not eating enough vegetables. I maybe don't have the greatest access to that at lunch and I'm too tired to do it at dinner right now. This is the best place to inject that. And so rather than saying my resolution for 2026 is to eat more vegetables, I'm deciding here's the action that that's going to look like. And this would also be assuming that the person who decides that as a habit in the first place is having a smoothie anyway.
Yes, exactly. So attaching to a thing that already exists, or in the
Right.
case of the elevator stairs, like you're kind of swapping one thing out for another, but it's already
Right.
there. You're going from point A to point B. We're
Right.
changing what the middle looks like, but the broader thing is still there. I imagine we're working toward deconstructing like what some of these big goals are, because that the having a smoothie with kale in it, I understand why that doesn't seem inspiring. And that can be
Mhm.
enough to have someone say, well, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's so easy that that's not going
Well,
to be my
right.
resolution, and shoot
Right.
12 steps ahead instead of recognizing that one, it's probably not easy. Because
Yeah.
if it occurred to you as a thing you should do and you're not already doing it, there's probably things keeping
There's
you from
probably a
doing it.
reason. There's an obstacle.
And this can be step one of a longer journey.
Right. That's exactly correct. So, to that point, when we're talking about building on the habit, right, we must attach continuations to the habit onto previous habits.
Yep.
It sounds so ridiculous, but figuring out something that you do that is already well established, well ingrained, not questioned, not pushed back by you. For example, you already go for a brisk walk 3 days a week, right? You feel inspired to add more movement to your life. Great, let's tack on another 5 minutes to
Yes.
that. The like cue of, oh, I'm going for a walk. It's 15 minutes now instead of 10. It can be that
Mhm.
simple,
Yeah.
right? It could be, oh, hey, I'm buying double the kale this week and I'm going to pack a Tupperware to go with me that I'm going to tack on for lunch,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
After we've mastered adding it to the smoothie because, hey, look, I already have it out, right? It's super simple for me to then have that cue something else up.
Now, there's people listening out there now saying,
Mhm.
well, I've got a few resolutions, and they're all
Mhm.
stuff that is nothing like I'm doing right now. But I know these are things I want to do. And maybe they're
Okay.
too big and maybe they're too vague and maybe I need to get more specific. But if
Yep.
I'm someone who is, sedentary and spends, 12 hours a day consuming content through a phone,
Mhm.
and uh, what I want to do is be active and healthy and making friends and being in a community, these two things seem disconnected. Are you telling me I just
Right.
have to consume friendlier content on the phone and stop trying so
No.
hard?
No. You must make the new action, particularly if it's something brand new, right? We're introducing something where there was not something before, not dialing it up. You must make it easy to do for at least the first week.
Exactly. At least.
Right. And cued by something else, right? We're not so far different from like a rat in a lab that can be cued by, hey, I hear the bag of cheese opening, right? You might need different types of cues for that, right? Like an example might be, hey, there's a post-it note on my fridge that doesn't say, shut the fridge, you fat piece of shit. That's not what it says.
No, thank you.
But it says, hey, before you have breakfast, I want you to stretch for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Right? Before you go for that second cup of coffee, I want you to go and do your 15-minute Peloton that you said was important to you. Right? It could be, hey, I have a note on my bathroom mirror that says, today I will walk 30 minutes. It might be laying out your outfit the night before and putting a note in your shoes of what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's I love that one. And it's tacking on it's a pattern interrupt, but also tacking onto a pattern that already exists. So
Right.
so when I get up and walk to my dresser, my gym clothes are there and I put my gym clothes on. And someone who puts their gym clothes on is a lot more likely to go to the gym. And so this is
Right.
what I'm doing. And it slightly
Right.
course corrects as opposed to, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow and having nothing else moving you in that direction.
Right. We need to have some things that are moving you in the direction that you want to go, because
Yes.
a habit can be really tricky to implement without making it small, measurable, and a part of the action that you would be wasting time to avoid.
Yes.
Right? Like to the point of, hey, I'm putting out my gym clothes that I'm going to put on tomorrow so that I can go to the gym. You're either going to put them on and go to the gym, or you're going to have to put them away.
Mhm. Yep, exactly.
Right? Like you're creating work either way.
Yeah. Yep, I love it.
Love it. We cannot ignore, however, the science of the stories that we tell ourselves,
Oh, yeah.
because everybody has things that they believe to be true about themselves, the narratives that they say, and we're often looking to make decisions that confirm what we already believe is true about ourselves.
Sometimes in really nasty ways, yeah.
Sometimes in really nasty ways, like totally contrary to who we say we want to be and who we desire to be and what we want to grow into and what we resolve for.
Yep.
Right? So if you want to change your behavior and you're kind of constantly running into the same brick wall, it's possible that we have some story work to do. Right? What I mean by that, by story work, you and I know what that means, but I don't want to use
Yeah,
jargon
we should
for
explain.
folks like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is story work?
Yes.
You gonna learn. You need to change the underlying self story that you are subconsciously making decisions based on. Right? You probably know somebody who is stuck in this story work cycle. They're the type of person who always has an excuse why they cannot do something all the time.
Mhm.
Right? Or this is the person who's like ordering something that they make a big fuss over. I know that this isn't right for me, but I just like I gotta have it.
Yeah. Which is
Right?
such a different story than, "This wasn't on my plan, but I'm gonna indulge myself this time, and it's gonna be great."
It's different.
It's a radically different thing, and it leads to
Right.
all the other actions that come along with it tend to be different as well.
Right. Think about this as like the person at the business lunch, if everybody else is eating like slightly more health conscious and they make a big deal about self-deprecating themselves for their choices.
Mhm.
Like, well, I've got to be sleepy in that 4 o'clock meeting, and everybody like, ho, 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 ho. We got some story work to unpack, my dude.
I love your business guy impression.
Thank you. I have a lot of experience.
I did get to the fun opportunity, a couple weeks ago. I think we you and I have talked about it. I think we talked about it on the pod. I went to a business conference, and everyone had breakfast and lunch together every day.
Mm.
And lunch was down at the restaurant. Like you got a voucher, there was some amount you were allowed to, there was a prefix menu basically, so it was all free.
Sure.
Is how it worked
Sure.
out. And there was, a small but fine menu. There was like a
Yeah.
couple salads and a burger and something like a veggie burger and something else. It was like 5 entrees you could have. And the first day I sat at this table and there was like 6 people and I was going in for the chicken Caesar salad. That's what I was leading with. That's what I wanted. I was excited about it. And everyone else ordered either a salad with no dressing or a burger with no bun and no cheese. And one person just like vacillated so long about like, oh, should I get the fries? Should I do it? And these are like, everyone here is a fitness professional.
Right.
I finally said, I'm going to be bad and get the fries. And I couldn't, like, it was out of my mouth before I could stop. I was like, you're not bad. Fries aren't bad. Fries are delicious. What are you talking about? And I went, oh.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not telling you to eat fries, but you're cool and fries are cool.
Right.
So I'm not going to stand here and have someone speak poorly about either of them.
Right.
And the next day I sat at a way cooler table where people just like ate their food and it was okay with it. And it was fine.
And didn't have like a crisis of ordering.
Yeah. Like, and part of it definitely was like, what will these, I garnered that, are these people going to think less of me if I order fries? Am I a bad coach if I eat frickin' French fries? Oh boy, everyone's got some work to do, don't they?
Everybody's got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally today for lunch, I had Wendy's, which I think it's been months since the last like full drive-through meal. But I spent a lot more time out and about doing things today than I planned to. And it was like, I have to eat.
Yep.
I'm starting to get I'm starting to get the low blood sugar tinglies.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make a decision. What is the closest thing that I know will provide some amount of sustenance, will not absolutely blow the budget, that I can eat while I'm driving because I know I'm about to be in the car for 30 minutes.
Yep.
And that I will also enjoy. Like, yeah, I could have stopped and gotten like a Subway sub and been like, oh, this fucking gross excuse for a grinder. Like, get out of here.
No.
Would that have been nutritionally potentially a better option? Absolutely. And I would have been like,
so unhappy and eating Subway bread and paying $15 for a sandwich and like.
Right. So I got a Diet Coke the size of my face and I got chicken nuggets and I got a kid size fry and was like, this is great. I know that this isn't going to blow my macros for the day. This isn't going to throw me into like a huge overage. And I've got a protein. I've got a carb. I've got some fats. Is it optimal? No, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And it's what's available. And it's designed to be eaten while you drive. And it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag us off there. But I remembered sitting at that lunch table being like, oh, God. Fucking nerds.
So back to story work.
Yes.
So there's a gentleman named Timothy Wilson who wrote a book called Redirect, which describes a large body of research of how stories can change behavior long term. One technique that he's researched that you and I are familiar with in practice is called story editing, right? Step 1 is we write out your existing story. That sounds like it could be really big and scary, and we're going to make it a lot easier for you here in a couple minutes. So just
we're going to boil it down.
Right. But step 1 is, what is my story right now? And pay special attention to anything about the story that goes against the new resolution or the new identity that you want to adopt.
Yes.
Right. What sticks out? And a simple way to do this could be to start to think of, hey, when I think of myself, what are the 5 words that come to mind? Right. If they're all terrible, we have an opportunity to rewrite your story.
Yeah.
Assuming that you would like that to not be true.
I mean, if you think the things are terrible, then that tells me that something isn't aligning with your values and you want it to change.
Right.
Like if I call you loud and brash, I suspect you would say, "Uh-huh. Yeah."
Yeah.
Somebody else in a different world, in a different line, a different something could be like, I feel like I'm too loud and brash. I'm looking to be, I don't know. I want to be more sedate. I'm
I
going for
want to
more
be,
NPR.
I'd like to be meek.
Maybe. Like I can imagine that wasn't a great example. But like a
Yeah.
characteristic that could be one person could aspire for could absolutely be something that someone else is trying to get rid of.
Well,
Right?
that's right.
Tracking your food. Like one person should really be tracking their food and that's what they're going to move toward. Another person should really stop tracking their food.
Right.
It's a fine thing, but it's a positive for one and a negative for another.
Right. That's exactly correct. I was thinking more along the lines of if somebody has a bunch of negative things to say about themselves, and then the next sentence that follows it is, but that's just who I am, or that's just how it is.
Oh,
Or
yes.
that's how life has teed it up for me.
Yeah. That somehow it's unchangeable.
Yeah. We're going to get into that heavily in a future episode. So if you'd like to hear some thoughts I have on that, come back in a couple of weeks.
Keep listening. We call that a teaser.
We call that in the business breadcrumbs. Okay, so if step 1 is write out your story, step 2, somewhat obviously, is rewrite the story. Create a new self story. Tell the story of what we call the new way of being. So we're going to make this really easy for you. And we're going to hopefully be able to sit still long enough to give you some space. And also, we trust that you are in a place where you could grab a pen and a piece of paper and you're not driving. And this will not be useful to you if you are driving right now. And so I would recommend if you're listening to this in the car right now and you feel really compelled to go on this story work journey with us, come back when you're sitting down with paper and a pen and can hit the pause button.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, what's about to come? Weezy's going to tell you some stuff. You are going to have a pen and paper. You're going to pause the podcast until you're satisfied you've done it. Come on back. Because I'm also not going to sit here and whistle for 10 minutes. It's going to take you a little while.
I would also offer to folks who decide to do this along with us, cap yourself at like between 1.5 to 2 minutes per prompt. And very important, I'm going to remind you of this several times, but none of what we're about to embark on is physical body shaming.
No,
right?
no.
That's not what we're doing. And so if you decide to write something down that is like a physical call out that makes you feel icky, please cut that out. And I compel you to be a little kinder to yourself.
Ditto.
Cool. Okay. So on your piece of paper, I want you to leave some space at the top of the paper. And then I want you to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a vertical row, right? If it's lined paper, you're taking up the first 5 lines, right? On those 1 through 5, I want you at each of them to write a 1 or 2 word prompt to describe your favorite trait about yourself. And again, we're not calling out like, I have beautiful blonde hair. Like we're talking integrity, kindness, right? What are your favorite traits about yourself that you possess, that you regularly act on?
And you do have 5.
You do have 5. If you're not sure, an exercise that I've done prompted by Tori Dunlap, who runs her first 100K, which is wonderful. If you're in the market for financial literacy advice, she's wonderful and puts out a lot of free resources and also some paid ones if you feel compelled to do that. But one of the things that she did on one of her live calls was she said, hey, pick up your phone right now and text somebody and say, hey, what are the 3 attributes that you believe I most proudly possess? And so if you feel like, hey, I'm really getting stuck here, text somebody who you trust and care about immensely and say, hey, what are 3 traits you believe I identify that I should be proud of?
So go do that. Do those 5 traits. Pause the podcast. And we'll be here when you get back.
Okay, you're back. You have your list of 5, right? We're going to make below that list of 5 a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So another 5 that we are going to call out your least favorite traits about yourself. Again, we are not physically nitpicking here. We're not putting cellulite on there. We're not putting never lost the baby weight on there. One of the ones that I put on mine was reckless spending, right? Like from the story work of my life, didn't grow up with a lot of money. Once I had it, I was like, oh, I can buy everything that I want all the time. And I don't have to think about it ahead of time. And if I see it and I like it, I should just get it. Friends, that's not the way to do it. So one of the things on mine was reckless spending.
Mine was all the murder. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it.
So you're gonna pause and write your 5 least favorite traits about yourself. Again, 1 or 2 words at a time on that line 6 through 10, and then come back. You're back. You now have a list of your 5 favorite and your 5 least favorite traits about yourself. We're now going to create offset a little bit. So if you're on our standard piece of paper, go underneath the least favorite, but offset about halfway down the page. Let's write 11 through 15. And then in those lines, I want you to write the opposite or the inverse of your least favorite trait. Right? So in my example about spends recklessly, it would be planful purchases, right? So take a second. It might take a little bit of time to chew on this. You might need to phone a friend on this. If you need to message us about it, we don't respond in real time, but you can.
And to be clear, it's either a statement or put in the positive. It is not someone who spends recklessly. You need to
right.
rephrase that.
Rephrase it.
Plans their purchase as well.
Right. It's not recklessly spending.
Correct.
So take a second, create the inverse of your 5 least favorite traits, and then come back. Okay, you're back. Now we're going to summarize what we've done. So I want you to look first only at the 5 least favorite traits. And I want you to try to sum up that list with one word. It might be one of the words that's already there. It might not. It needs to be one word. And then you're going to put that word in front of your name, right? So for example, in my example, if I'm only looking at that one, it might be reckless, Weez, right? So take a second, summarize those 5 least favorite traits with one word, and then put it in front of your name. Great, you've done it. You're back. Now we want to look at the list of traits that you love, that you already possess, those first 5, and at the 5 inverse traits, right? The opposites of your least favorites. I want you to try to summarize that list of 10 with one word.
Tricky.
Again, it might be a word that's already on the list. It might not. Often, the first word that comes to mind is the right one. Trust your gut. Take a second, look at your list, summarize it, come back. Okay, you have your word. You're going to put that in front of your name. So when I did this, the word that I came up with was potent. Potent Weez, right? What we're going to do next, underneath all of the list, is create a couple of sentences, all of which start with your word and your name. And so for me, all of my sentences start with potent Weez, ... Okay. What you're going to put in those sentences is somewhere between 5 and 10 different statements, action statements, starting with your identity and then your name, that describe actions that that person does. And to be clear, you might already do some of them, right? Like some of the traits that embody the person that you'd like to be, you're already taking action in that direction. However, take it back to our conversation about setting a appropriate resolution, these need to be small enough as to actually be implementable, right? It can't just be potent Weez exercises.
Yeah.
Right.
Something.
It needs to be specific.
Exactly. Specific and ideally some kind of measurable.
Right. Correct. So 5 to 10 sentences. We'll be here when you get back. Okay, you're back. You have your 5 to 10 sentences. If someone's listening to this and not doing it, they are like ready to jump out of their car
Trying
window.
to remember what they're going to do later. No,
We
you have to do it.
told you.
Yep. And to be clear, like Weezy and I both have done this at least a couple of times individually, and it is worth doing.
It is worth doing. If you're like, this is stupid, I can't see why story work would be useful. It's useful.
Yeah.
When have we led you astray? If you're still here, 29 episodes deep, can you just get a piece of paper and just do story work with us, please? It would be so cool.
We're only here to help.
Okay. Underneath your action statement sentences, all of which start with your word and your name, we're going to write some things that that person has as a result of practicing those behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, for example, as a result of Potent Weez planning her purchases, Potent Weez is able to spend more planfully, and she feels more empowered in her purchases and in her financial situation.
Yeah. It's the result of the doing.
Right. What do you have as a result of doing the thing? What do you get? And if you're having a hard time figuring out, like, I don't know what that would lead to, you might need to revisit the sentence itself. Right? You might need to revisit the action. If it's feeling like I can't possibly grasp what this would lead me to, we probably need to tweak the action a little bit. So again, between 5 and 10 here. Take some time with that. We'll be here when you get back. Okay. You're back. This is story work. It doesn't have to be, hey, I've set out and I've written a 500-page novel about what has happened in my life, rememberable from my first memory to now. No, this is you taking a magnifying glass to the things that you love about yourself and the things that you see as opportunities and deciding, here is some actionable stuff that I'm going to do. And cool, here's the carrot I'm going to get at the end.
Yeah. It's where you are or where you want to be and what that actually looks like.
Right. It's creating an idea, a picture of what your life could look like and giving you quite literally the roadmap of how to get there. It feels like I just wrote some words on the page, but it's so much more profound than that.
It's much more profound than that. And it can inform everything else. Because these are, you likely have, 20-ish big sentences in front of you, and you can start fleshing that out. Because, a person who does these things, well, that's also a person who does all of these other small things. And you can start framing your life that way. I told the person one of the people who first introduced this to us, I mentioned to them that this reminded me a lot of character study when I was studying acting.
Yes.
Because there's a form of acting where you're trying to figure out, like, this person, like, okay, well, who are they? How do they stand? How do they dress? How do they tie their shoes? How do they cross the street? How do they how do they take their coffee? Why? What time do they go to bed? Like, and none of those things matter, but put together, that is,
it matters.
Character and a personality, and the
That's
type
an identity.
of person who will make, in this case, in the case of big dramatic decisions, giant epic things, but that person that will be reflected in the way they lay their clothes out at night. Right.
Exactly. And it's likely to feel a little bit like you're cosplaying as this person.
Totally.
And that's okay. Right? Your job, now that you know, is to start showing up as this person. Start doing the actions that you scoped out in the middle of the page. And you might need to kind of retether back to why, right? When I was first getting started with this, I would literally repeat in my head, Potent Weezy plans her purchases. Potent Weezy plans her purchases. Right? I'd be going to click to order something stupid that I was not planning on buying. No, Potent Weezy plans her purchases. Right? And sometimes it sounded a little more like Potent Weezy plans her purchases. Blah.
Totally.
Right? And eventually, this starts to become your identity. This starts to become who you actually are, right? So, why I titled this, well, I mean, you're going to title it whatever you want, but I think you should title it Fuck Your Resolutions, unless Spotify will have a real conniption about that.
I think they'll be okay. We'll put some stars in there.
Rather than resolving to do something different, we invite you to do some story work and unpacking the stories and identities that you've been telling yourself. What have you been subconsciously allowing to dictate the choices that you make, and then thereby like affecting the infrastructure of your life? That sounds really dramatic, but it's true, right? Then you're making action goals rather than outcome goals based on those actions you've scoped out as, this is the person I want to be. Great, go do it. And then apply it to what we already know is true about behavior change. Stack it with something else that you're already doing. Choose the minimum effective dose. Start easy and then build over and over, teeny tiny, a layer of brick and mortar at a time. And if you do it this way, not only will you stick to the thing that might have fallen off in years past, you won't recognize yourself in a year. You'll be a different person.
Completely. And this is, if this sounds like a lot of work and the long way around, I promise you this is such a fast shortcut, because you're getting rid of a lot of the outer nonsense that's in the way of what you actually want, and setting big impressive goals, whatever it is. I want to lift this or do that or make this money or achieve this relationship or do these things or do this in my community. Those are big. A person who got to whatever that means, because a lot of those vague goals are meaningless, well, how does that person tie their shoes? How does that, you can start becoming that person by doing this work, and you actually, it is the shortcut. It's the shortcut to getting to the heart of the matter. And then you can start building the thing that actually matters. That's actually reverse engineering the big scary goal.
Right. It's hard to picture like, well, what if my goal is to be in a healthy relationship by the end of next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to picture how like speaking to a stranger every day might get you in that direction. It's hard to picture how asking your checkout person how their day is going might get you in that direction. And it might.
100%. It absolutely could. And you will, like, by doing this exercise, you will come to that, and you will suddenly realize, like, oh, and I've had the same the same way you described Weezy sometimes, like, oh, right. Impressive Justin gets up at 5 a.m. and does his fucking exercises. That's right. He does, doesn't he? That guy. All right. Well,
that guy.
There it is.
Yeah. And you might discover through the path of this that there are some things that you need to approach differently than you originally thought, right? One of the items on my list was Potent Weezy takes a walk every day. And something that I learned this time last year is that I cannot fucking stand winter. Miss me with the you just need better clothes. Like, I hate winter. I hate it. I can't stand it.
You live in Ohio.
I am aware.
Okay.
I will not live here forever. Mark my words. This is
I
not
believe
where
you.
we die. Watch me get T-boned on the way home today. I do live in Ohio. I do. I at my first opportunity though, you might not know this about me. I think you know this about me. When I initially went to school, I went to the University of South Florida in Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
1, I wanted to get far away from home, but 2, I wanted to get as far away from winter without being in Miami and without shifting time zones. So I did a pretty bang up job.
Yeah,
of that.
that's a good one.
And I was there for 2 years, and I truly don't think my blood has ever recovered. I still think I'm operating with like Florida blood, and I'm just up here like fucking
Florida
winter.
Weezy is cranky.
I mean, truly right now I'm in a vest that goes down to my shins, over
Yep.
top of a hoodie, over top of a shirt.
Well, you wear it well.
Thank you very much. So something that was really important to me last winter is I got a walking pad for my desk. Right. And then said, okay, great. If Potent Weezy walks every day, what I need to do is make sure that on the meetings that I'm on, when it makes sense to do so, I'm walking. Right. This is how I solve for that. Beating my head into a wall and being like, Potent Weezy goes for a fucking walk every day. She doesn't care about the weather. That wouldn't have met me where I am.
Well, it's not
And
true, right? Because
it's not
Potent
true.
Weezy fucking hates the weather. So
Fucking Weezy.
so what's the way forward? And this is like that example. If someone does this, when you do it, if and when you do it again in 3 months, things are going to be a little bit different. Because
Yes.
if you've done this, things have changed. And there's stuff about like the things that you like most about yourself are a little bit different. And the things you don't like, you've noticed some different holes. You've noticed some different opportunities. Things have moved around. So the line that we start, and this is part of the problem with resolutions, right? Like if you describe a line January 1st, say, that's the way I'm going, here we go. Then when you run into a mountain, the only option you've given yourself is to tunnel through. And that, I've heard, is a lot of work, as opposed to, there might be 3 other ways to get to the other side of this mountain. Shall we explore a little bit? We might have to make an adjustment.
Is there a trolley?
Yeah.
Do you want to take that?
Ooh, I love a funicular.
Ooh.
I really like a
Ooh.
funicular.
Ooh. Ooh. This reminds me of, I think it's the second Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Where the major villain in that is a gentleman who is just entirely made of holes that open different portals to other dimensions.
Yeah.
And there's this one line that Ted and I will semi-regularly shout across the house that is, my holes aren't the problem, they're the solution. And so this comes to mind for us because like the mountains that you encounter, the holes that you encounter might not be the problem. Yeah. They might be the solution.
Yeah. Climbing that mountain might be exactly the thing.
Right. But also, if you stand next to the mountain, pointing at the mountain, shouting, that's a mountain! Nobody can possibly climb that. I've always walked on flat ground. I can't get over that.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be right.
Yeah. Either way, right? If you think you can do it or not, you're definitely right.
More on that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I actually did a version of this for my business a couple of weeks ago. I did like kind of a vision boarding thing, but it was like, all right, what do I want to be true in a year? Okay.
Yeah.
And less like kind of be, do, have, more like, okay, well, if that was true, what would be true in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4?
Yeah.
And that took a little while. I'm like, okay, well, if that's true, what's happening in January, February, and March? Okay, well, if that's true, what the fuck happens the first week of January? Great. Look, I have a specific, measurable, attainable to-do list. Or if I don't, I might need to back up. Like, either this is way too big, I've screwed up, we need to shift what some of these are, or wait a minute. And this happened on one. I was like, wait a minute, why am I saying it's going to take me a month to set up this thing that I could do this in 2 hours? Why have I made this goal so scary and giant and impossible and a thing I'm going to get to instead? Like, I could definitely go on Do Not Disturb and do this in 2 hours. This is now a goal for December 27th. And that's not even allowed in January. And we're moving things around.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
I am wondering if that's why you started doing an ad and started showing up distinctly differently on social.
100%.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for
exactly
it.
Like, well, what would a person who had accomplished this and was able to do these things and have these kind of team members, what would that person be doing walking into a year where he's trying to make significant change? Oh, yeah. He'd be investing in a couple of different ways, even when it's scary, and showing up in ways that aren't always the most comfortable. Though my mother did call me today to tell me how much she loved the juggling video and 2 other videos, but she couldn't remember which ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been getting a real kick out of the what's that? Like the other person, the alter ego Justin or God Justin speaking to Justin.
Yeah, and Justin is totally unimpressed with all of these yahoos. You should see me
Well
shoot
done.
it because it's insane.
Oh, I believe that. From the very limited like 2-person talking head stuff that I've done, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Should we do a segment?
I think we should do a segment. This is we've done stuff similar to this before, but not exactly. And I found a list that I thought would be fun, so we're going to do it. Let me resize it so I can see the list and you, because both of those things are important. Yep. Great. So I'm calling this segment FDA or DEA. I have a bunch of supplements. I think I have like 9. And they are supplements that people actually were on the market and people put in their bodies. Weezy needs to tell me, and the government intervened. Did the government intervene because it was determined it was unsafe? That's the FDA. Or because it was literally drugs? That's the DEA. And there may be a couple red herrings in here that are clean, that are just fine.
What?
But generally...
FDA or DEA versus... Okay.
I think it's easy to hard, but we'll see.
Right.
Starting with original Jack 3D. Pitch was tunnel vision focus, skin-tearing pumps, and infinite energy. Multiple reviews in 2010 said it made you see sounds.
I bet this is actual drugs.
It's not. It is FDA, but it was decided that it was unsafe and not a quote-unquote natural extract, and they had to pull it off the market. They still sell something called Jack 3D, but it is a very different formulation.
Okay.
Craze, also a pre-workout, as is often the way a lot of these things are pre-workout. Right. You got unmatched euphoria, quote-unquote clean energy, and 3-hour workouts. Craze was voted the supplement of the year.
Whoa. I think... Man, for it to be supplement of the year, that makes me think it's a red herring.
It's not. It's DEA. It was a N-alpha depa, which is a cousin of methamphetamine. It was the supplement of the year, and then athletes started failing drug tests. And they're like, wait a minute. Hold on.
Third-party testing. Important.
Yeah. We have Halidrol. This was sold in the mid-2000s as a pro-hormone for massive muscle gains and alpha confidence. Halidrol.
That's going to be an FDA thing.
This was DEA. They were steroids. Fuck. They were selling Schedule 3 steroids.
Oh my God.
We have Redline Extreme, which boasts of shivering thermogenesis and 7+ hours of intense mental alertness. This is a drink, if that helps.
I say that absolutely that's an FDA.
This is clean. It was just an ungodly amount of caffeine. They did get the pantsuit off them many, many times. It went through a lot of litigation, but it was legal. We have Oxy Elite Pro. This is a top-selling fat burner from the makers of Jacked 3D that targeted fat loss and a massive boost in metabolic state.
That's verbal diarrhea.
Yes. That's their advertising. I didn't write that.
Metabolic state. Okay, this is FDA.
It is FDA. It was recalled after a massive outbreak of acute hepatitis and liver failure in users. Yeah. That's like real bad.
That's like bad.
Fun one. Royal Honey. This instant physical stamina, improved libido, and endurance.
That's a red herring.
FDA. It was relabeled Viagra. It was sildenafil that you could buy at gas stations. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Royal Honey.
THG, also called The Clear. Massive strength increases with 0 water retention. The Clear.
That's DEA. That's going to be a steroid.
Is DEA. It was a designer steroid that was specifically designed to not show up on the drug tests at the time.
Sneaky.
This is also part of the Balco Barry Bonds scandal, where as testing got better, they went back. This is often how a lot of Olympians and Tour de France people get busted. Drug tests keep getting better, and they keep samples. So they'll go test samples they had from 5 years ago and be like, oh, wait a minute. These guys were on stuff we weren't good enough at catching yet.
Right.
Understood. 2 more.
Now do rape kits.
Oh my God. If only. NO explode. We have massive nitric oxide production and mental ignition.
I'm laughing because I've taken this. I think that's a red herring. I hope that's a red herring.
It is. It's clean. It just
sick.
It's carbonated horror show, but it's legal and clean.
Yeah. I used to go back and forth between NO explode and black powder.
Oh,
I have a very funny story about taking expired black powder that I didn't know was expired immediately prior. It can, in fact. And I had just bought a new tin, didn't check the label, and took my first scoop about 35 minutes before a half marathon.
Jesus. Okay.
And I have some stories.
Yeah. I bet that was an interesting time.
I did PR.
Okay. Sure. How much of it do you remember?
I could tell the story. Do you want to hear the story?
Sure. Yeah.
So I realized about 20 minutes before the race started that I was about to have explosive diarrhea.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I'm about to be not okay. And as you would expect at the start line before a long race, there's 7 porta-johns and a line a mile long. And so I had a decision to make, hey, I'm 45 minutes from my house. Something is clearly about to exit my body. I only have so long. Mm-hmm. If I stand in this line,
you're not going to make it.
I'm not going to make it. And I'm going to have to go home. And I'm going to have to drive home in my car, full of poop.
Yeah. Also not going to make it.
Also not going to make it. Right. Yeah. And so I speed walk back to my car and I'm like, what do I have? What do I have? What do I have? And as luck would have it, I had an extra large Tupperware, a big rectangular Tupperware. Because I'd gone, it's going to get so much worse. It's going to get so much worse. I'd gone to a taco night the night before and I'd forgotten to take.
This is an amazing combination.
It's
taco
probably...
night into the marathon.
I was 19, you know?
Yeah.
It was one of those large rectangular Tupperwares. It was probably about as wide and long as my laptop. Right?
Sure.
And several inches deep, right? I brought a lot of ground beef.
Not deep enough, I bet.
Many people. And I also, because I lived in Florida, had an extra large beach towel in my car.
Sure.
And because also taco night, I had a half empty thing of soft taco shells.
Okay.
So,
oh, God. Okay.
I put my seat as far back as it would go and draped this beach towel over the whole thing. People are walking by. Hello. And I made a mockery of this Tupperware. and I use the soft taco shells as toilet paper.
Oh, yeah.
And put them all in this Tupperware. And then put the lid on the Tupperware, shimmied my leggings back up, moved the beach towel, got out of my car, and then was well, but I live in Florida. I'm about to be running for at least 2 hours. I'm probably going to have some snacks after. We're looking at 2.5 to 3 hours away from my vehicle. I've got to put this under my car or something so that hot diarrhea is not sitting in my vehicle.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I did that and forgot about it. And I was parked on a residential street. So at some point, some amount of time later, somebody encountered a
Truly
monster
perplexing nightmare.
a monster-sized Tupperware
Yeah.
full of diarrhea and soft taco shells. And then later, I looked at the black powder label and saw that, oh yes, this brand new like supplement canister that I just bought
Mm-hmm.
expired 6 months ago. Sick.
Thank you for sharing. That's an very funny and truly awful story. And it's cool knowing that there's also someone else out there who also has a horrible story. Where someone's like, oh, like I found this thing on my car. Be like, you want to talk about finding stuff? You're not going to believe. So there was a Tupperware and I opened it and there was soft taco shells and this brown material. What's the first thing you think? It's truly horrible.
Truly horrifying. I think about that person once a month.
Yeah. If you should somehow hear this, please reach out because
please. I've thought about like pitching that to Armchair Expert, but I never see their like we're recording about poop in time. I see it like days later.
You should set up some kind of Google alert for that.
Sure. Get notified by Armchair Expert.
Oh, I missed it again.
Drad. You gotta tell my poop tale.
That's an amazing. You were like, and I had some soft taco shells, and I was so sure I knew where it was going, and was still like, no, it can't. We're not gonna. We're not. Okay.
That's where we're going. It's the right consistency.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Thanks for all the support.
It's been really good. Okay, I'm just gonna go down here.
Yep. That was it.
Do you have more questions?
I'm not No, the segment's over. Nothing. We can't go on.
That's the first time I've killed a segment.
No, you just topped it. Like if I could have blown a whistle and the room just blacked out, like I would have done that. Be like, that's it. Let's go out on the absolute peak. It's impossible to follow. The prestige.
Wow, happy to provide.
It's incredible.
Team, Happy New Year, or whenever you're listening to this. Go set some non-shitty goals, and oh god.
I can't believe it wasn't on purpose. That's the thing. If you have the video feed, if you don't, you should get the video feed and watch Weezy realize what she just did.
Make good decisions. Don't poop in Tupperware. This has been Training Partners. I'm Weezy Shoemaker. That's Justin McClintock. We will see you next year.
Happy New Year. Thanks, gang.
Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to shine together.